is going on, family? You know that based on the title of this video, I am giving you guys the alternative to Alive Shoes part 2. Without further ado, I am not going to waste you guys' time. There's a lot of information that I want to present to you guys, and we're going to jump right into it. Stay tuned.
I got royalty inside my DNA.
So I have two shoes in front of me right now. The first on my right being my BC Polar Lights. These were customized and designed on ALIVESHOES.com. And to my left, we have the Nike Prestos from Nikeid. I have done a full review on both these shoes in previous videos on my channel. If you want to see those, just go check out those videos. But for this video, I will be going over a side-by-side comparison of Alive shoes versus Nikeid. So the first thing I want to go over is the sign-up process. So for Alive shoes, what you're doing essentially when you go over to ALIVESHOES.com is you're requesting to be a designer through Alive Shoes for either your person or for your brand. And what that does is once you request to be a designer, you get an email back from the Alive Shoes team that lets you know, hey, you just got approved to be a designer on our site. And that first account that you get is a basic account. Pretty much you getting access to a basic directory of shoes that you have access to customize whenever you want. The only caveat to that, we'll just say that the basic directory is 10 shoes, just to throw a number out there. It's more than that, but we'll just use 10 as a base number. So you get access to these 10 shoes and you don't get access to anything else on the site unless you want to sign up or switch to a pro account for a fee. Now with that pro account, what happens is you get access to the 10 basic directory shoes, but you also get access to, we'll say 5 limited edition shoes. So instead of getting only access to the 10 shoes, you'll get access to 15 shoes, 10 being the basic and those 5 extra being limited edition. Over to Nikeid. When you sign up for Nikeid, you're not requesting to be a designer through Nike to make a brand page or anything of that nature. You're pretty much creating an account to have access to the Nikeid customization service, which allows you to choose any shoe they have available for you to customize. And that way you can put your own spin on the colorway. As you can see here, you can add words to the back. From the last time I checked, that limit was 3 per shoe. So what you'll see is 3 on one shoe, 3 on the other, BELCUR. That's Beloved Cerenity for short. And I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I felt like I needed to show that to you guys ahead of time in order to make my point for this specific part of the video. But I'll be reiterating that. The next thing I wanted to go over is the customization process for ALIVESHOES.com. For those of us who are signed up, we already know this, but for those of you who are not signed up, basically what you get with ALIVESHOES.com. Remember I said there was 2 different directories depending on if you have a basic account or a pro account. So depending on whichever one you have, those directories never change unless they add shoes to it. So whatever shoes were on the site when I first signed up, they're still there to this day. This shoe, this base model of this shoe has always been available. It was available in 2019 when I signed up. It's available now in 2021. This shoe has never been removed from the site. It is still there. What you will see when you get there is that this shoe will be a completely white design until you change it. So the sole of the shoe will be white. The entire base of the shoe will be white. The trim of the shoe will be white. The lace is white. The tongue white. This tongue design wouldn't have anything in it. And the inside tongue would also be available for you to customize. What happens is, what you're doing as a designer is you're telling the Alive Shoes team, hey, I want the sole of this shoe to be a gum bottom. They put a gum bottom on it. I want the base of my shoe to be Italian suede. Okay, what color do you want? I want it to be teal. Okay, we'll make it teal. I want the trim of my shoe to be Italian suede as well. I want to make that lime green or whatever color they tell you that is. Essentially what you're doing is creating one shoe from top to bottom or bottom to top, whichever way you look at it. From nothing, you're taking nothing and making it something. You're putting on your logo, fully customized logo. You're putting a fully customized tongue, or you can choose whatever tongue options they have available. You're pretty much customizing this entire shoe. I think the last time I checked, the 3 options they have for fabrics are cruelty-free vegan, Italian suede, and Italian leather. Those options haven't changed. What I have seen is that they have added designs, not even designs. You could choose different material for the sole of the shoe. And as well, I have seen that they have added, what's it called? Patent leather. There are certain colors that are patent leather and other materials that you can use for the shoe, which is good to make your shoe stand out, make it a little bit different. You don't have to stick to the suede or the leather and all that good stuff. But yeah, that's a good thing about designing with the live shoe. Excuse me. With Nikeid, this is something I did not like about the service. I designed this shoe back in 2000, was either late 2019 or early 2020. And what I noticed was when I designed this shoe, I don't have the option to change any of this fabric. I could change the color of it, which is a good thing. I can't change any of this fabric. But you can't change any fabric on the shoe. You can change the color of it, but you can't change the fabric. Same happens with the soles. You can't change the fabric, you can change the colors. For this portion of the sole, you can change the color, can't change the fabric, so on and so forth. Also, one thing I wanted to point out is with Nikeid. Let's say you signed up in 2020. There's a list of shoes available to you. Come 2021, this same shoe is not available. So, like I said, I designed this shoe in 2019, 2020. This shoe is no longer available on the site for me to customize, for me to sell. Well, we'll get to that point later. But this shoe is not available for me to customize or for me to order. It does show up in my order history, as well as this one does on the live shoes. They show up in your order history, but they do not. This is not an option for you to go back and buy again. Other thing I wanted to add, as I stated with the live shoes, I said that you could customize the tongue, add your own logos. On the Nikeid shoes, you can't replace the swoosh with your own logo. Have to keep the swoosh. The only thing, as I stated previously, on the back of the shoe, you can add your own touch to it, your own finishing touch. It varies on each shoe where that finishing touch is located. On this shoe, it happens to be on the back. And you are limited to 3 letters. I think that's the most I've seen for any shoe. That number is lower for some shoes, depending on which shoe you're customizing. And it may not exist for others. As you all know, for those of you signed up with the live shoes, the shoes can be a bit pricey, but I think that's kind of worth it to a certain extent. This just depends on how you evaluate that price. For this particular shoe, this shoe is listed at $179, and it can go to $149 depending on the discount codes you want to give your customers. What I have seen throughout Alive Shoes' site, I think the lowest shoe I have seen is priced at $159. Don't quote me on that. Somebody may have seen a price lower than that. If you have, comment it below for other people to see. But I think the lowest I've seen is $159, and the highest that I've seen is around $239, maybe $239, $279. Don't quote me on that one as well. If somebody knows those exact numbers, I haven't checked it as of late, but $239 or $279 is what I've seen, which means that the lowest price, if it was $279, would be $249, If it was $239, it'd be $209. The way that works for pricing the shoes on Alive Shoes, if you don't know, is that if this shoe is listed at $179, I have the option as the designer to give out my discount codes to my customers. Have a max discount code of $30 off, so that would take the shoe to $179. I'm gonna say $149, my apologies. $149 instead of $179 with the $30 off code, and it goes from there. So you could give it $10 off, $20 off, $30 off, and that makes the shoe $169, $159, or $149. Keep in mind those discount codes do alter what your profit is that you make off the shoe. The price point for these shoes are pretty fair. What you'll see is that if you go to the store, and a retail store, Foot Locker, Foot Action, whatever store y'all go to get your shoes, you'll notice that the price for a customized Nike Presto is about the same as a Nike Presto that you'll see in the store. There's not a major price jump or fluctuation between, or differences in those prices. So whether you customize this shoe or go get you one from Foot Action, Foot Locker, whatever store you go shop your shoes at, you won't see a big difference in the prices. The only thing that I say that you're getting from Nikeid, which is not a bad thing, is that you change the colorway for what you don't see in the store, and you're adding your finishing touch to brand it for yourself. I did want to throw this in there. I have my shoes. These aren't mine, these are my wife's. But my Prestos like this, I have wore these out, and people have come up to me and asked, hey, where'd you get those from? How can I order those? And unfortunately, I can't tell them, or I can't order these again and tell them that I want to sell them. The best thing for that is saving up money to buy a few pairs of your customized shoes from Nikeid and trying to sell them outside of that. That is the plus side to Nikeid, but we will continue to go on. Next thing I wanted to touch on is design protection. So as I stated earlier, with the Alive Shoes, you have the option to sign up for a pro account, purchase a pro account. You also have the option to protect your design, meaning I made this shoe and I don't want anybody to potentially copy this design or colorway or anything. I can pay Alive Shoes an amount to protect my design. That way nobody can say, you know what, I'm gonna make the same shoe in teal, green outline, white laces, and a gum bottom. Nobody can duplicate the colorway of the shoe. Now, they can go in and get the same shoe. It's not stopping them from going to get the shoe and customizing the same shoe. The only thing that design protection is doing is stopping them from completely copying your colorway of the shoe, the material you've used, and things of that nature. One thing I wanted to add to that, I don't think it's specific to the material. I think that this actual colorway itself, regardless of if this is suede or leather, they still can't use that same colorway. As we jump to Nikeid, as I stated, the shoes on Nikeid aren't for your specific brand. They aren't for you as a designer on Alive Shoes, because I'm gonna say on Nikeid, because you're not a designer for Nikeid. You're pretty much customizing a pair of shoes and buying them from Nikeid. So with that, you can't protect this design because it's not yours to begin with. This is a Nike Presto shoe. It's not a beloved Cerenity Presto. It's not specific to my brand or to what I've customized as a designer. This is a Nike shoe, and I can't change that or take this is a word I'm looking for. I don't know. I can't take credit for the design. Damn. I can't take credit for this shoe. Only thing that I'm taking credit for is the BEL on the back. Nobody would think to put BELCER on a shoe unless I've told them or I designed it. That's just it. But with Nikeid, you can't protect the design. And just to go back to a previous point, this shoe is not even available after a certain number of months. It's probably not even on the site anymore. So, Alive Shoes, there is a 7 shoe pre-order limit that you have to reach before this shoe goes into production. The only thing I've seen from other people on Alive Shoes that negates that rule is if you have a prototype button, which I don't have, so I can't give you guys information on something I don't have. At this time, I can only tell you that you have to get the 7 pre-orders. For Nike ID, there is no order minimum. You can customize one of these shoes, buy the same one shoe, and that be it. This particular shoe cost me $140, so I bought one pair of shoes for $140, got them sent to my house, and I've had them ever since. I think I already went over the selling options for this shoe. For all shoes on Alive Shoes, they have a set price point. From that price point, Alive Shoes gives you 3 discount codes. You have a $10 off code, a $20 off code, and a $30 off code. Depending on which one of those codes you give to your customers or your purchasers, buyers, whatever you want to call them, that determines the profit you get from the shoes. So if you get somebody your $30 off code, then you get a $0 profit. If you get somebody your $20 off code, then you get a $10 profit. And if you give somebody your $10 off code, then you get a $20 profit. If you don't give them a code at all, you get the full $30. The max profit that you could get from a shoe is $30. I think I also touched on this in a previous section, but the selling point for the Nike ID shoes is set across the board depending on the shoe. You can't adjust the price of the shoe. You can't give discount codes for the shoe because they are under your Nike ID profile. So if the shoe was $140, you're paying $140 for it. If the shoe was $90, you're paying $90 for it. Last thing I wanted to touch on, I think I already stated this as well, but the time limit that these shoes are available for is forever, unless Alive Shoes changes it in the future. They haven't changed it as of yet, and I don't think they will change it, but these shoes are available for as long as Alive Shoes is alive, no pun intended. When it comes to Nike ID, these shoes are available for a limited amount of time. I haven't seen a timer available on the site to verify that time that it's available. But like I said, I designed these shoes back in 2019, 2020. The Nike Prestos are no longer available on the site. I was kind of bummed about that because these shoes are comfortable as all get up and the colorway is dope. The ones that I have like this are red with the teal outline. I wear those on a regular basis. I don't wear these as much, but it's just a bummer that these aren't available as long as the Alive shoes. And I'm thinking that has to do because Nike releases so many shoes every year. They constantly update Nike ID and what shoes you can customize. All right, guys, that concludes today's video. You guys make an informed decision for yourself which service is better for you, whether it be Alive Shoes or Nike ID. There are pros and cons to each shoe. I think if you're going for price and a familiar brand and something you want to put your name on, go with Nike. Just be aware of the time that the shoes are available, and if you can make a bulk order of the shoes, go ahead and do that. I definitely recommend that. It's just up to you though. If you're going with Alive Shoes, I would say protect your designs, especially if it's something that you don't want somebody to copy or have the potential of copying. And definitely use those codes to your advantage. Use the marketing pictures to your advantage. You never know what somebody is interested in until you try to market it to them. For myself, at this time, it's better for me and my brand to stick with Alive Shoes. In the future, I don't know, I may go to Nikeid. Just depends on how I'm feeling or how I can market the shoes or whatever. But you guys choose what's best for you. And this video was pretty much just to show you that there are alternatives to Alive shoes. May not be the best alternatives depending on how you look at it, or they could be a better alternative. Yeah, but you guys make the informed decision for yourself. I'm not here to tell you how to run your business, which route to take. There are definitely pros and cons to both services. You can see it here if you go on the site. But hope you guys got something out of this video. Don't forget to comment on the video for a chance to be entered into our giveaway. And that will be taking place once we reach 400 subscribers. Again, check out the merch at belovedserenity.com. All links are in the description, and I will see you guys in the next video.